Hello and welcome back to our Zombie Wars series. Last time we added the turrets to our game, and now we are going to add the engineer zombie that will build those turrets. Let's get going. In last episode there was still a few bugs on the turrets, so let's fix them before we implement the new zombie. If we run our game, we can see that our turrets doesn't shoot anymore, and they will disappear on their own. But if you look really closely, you can see bullet getting created right in the middle of the turret, and then right away destroyed again. And that is because the bullet gets destroyed right away because it will collide with the turret base, which will make the turret lose HP and also get bullet destroyed. So we can just move the bullet creation outside of the turret base, and that should fix it. And actually in the event sheet we have done that already. If we look right here where we create the bullets, we create it in the turret guns image point number 1. But the thing that we forgot to do is to add the image point into our turret gun. So let's do that, and again I'm going to call it bullet point, and then put it right outside of the turret's barrel. And then we can close it, and now if we run our game again, it should work, but only one of our turrets will shoot. Or actually, to be more precise, only one turret will shoot twice at the same time. So what's going on with that? And it's actually a small mistake that we made in our event sheet. It's actually right over here. For the every 2 seconds we call it, or we create the bullet and set the angle of motion for every turret base in the game. But because we have turret base right here, and we set the turret bullets position to turret guns image point, then the game doesn't know what turret or turret gun it should use, and it will always use the one that is created first. So the problem is that we are not picking the right turret in this event. So we could just copy everything that we have right here and put it right here. And now everything should work because we are picking the turret gun that has the same coordinates as this turret base that we are looping over. And if we run the game now, it should work normally. But there is a simple way to do that. We don't actually need to do the picking ourselves. We can just change the for each condition to be for each turret gun. And now it should work normally because it will loop over all of the guns and use that gun's image point, so it will know where to create the bullet. But yeah, now we have fixed all the problems, so let's go back to Pisco and draw our engineered zombie. And I have already opened the old zombie sprites, and I'm just going to change the color of the shirt to make it our engineer. Yeah, here we have our engineered zombie, and let's export it out of here and import right into our project. Now, first things first, of course we need to rename our sprites. well, I'll call it engineer. Yeah, I think that's fine. And then we need to add it to the enemies and zombies families. And we can add it by right-clicking the family name and edit family. And here we're just double-clicking in straight to the family, press OK, and same thing for the zombies, like so. Now, currently we have the pathfinding behavior in the enemies family, but because we made the zombies family, I think it would make more sense to have the pathfinding in the zombies family, as all the zombies will need the pathfinding, but in the enemies there are turrets that don't need it. So let's do a little bit of refactoring of our logic and add new behavior to our zombies family, which will be the pathfinding. And now just change the parameters so that they are fine. And then we go to the event sheet and change all the events or actions that has the pathfinding to have the pathfinding from the zombies family instead of the enemies family. We can go back here. We need to go back to the zombies. Use the pathfinding 2, which is currently the name of the pathfinding behavior in zombies family. Find path at, yeah, it will still have the player X and Y. Do the same with the move along the path. So this one, but we need to take the zombies, move along the path, and once for here also. Right, and finally we can go to the enemies family and add behaviors and just delete the pathfinding over there. Now our game should work the same as it was before. Yeah, the zombies will run towards us, but currently everyone has the same speed, so we need to change them back by going here, and I think the strong zombie was 100, so we can make it a bit slower. Yeah, that should be it. But why we did that is that if we want to add a new turret for the game, for example, when we add it to the enemies family, we don't have to go here and disable the pathfinding behavior for every turret that we create. So it will make it a lot easier to implement new things for our game. But as for our engineer, we don't really want it to follow the player all the time. We would like to have it roaming around the map and building a new turret every time it finds a good position. And to do that, we go to the zombies family's behaviors, and here we are going to add a second pathfinding behavior. Yes, there can be 2 pathfinding behaviors on the same object, but the thing is that they need to have a different name, and actually we are going to rename them properly here. So the pathfinding 2, that was the original pathfinding, we will call it follow player. And then for the new pathfinding, let's call it roaming. And then we can close it. And now we need to go to the engineer zombie, and we want to disable the follow behavior or follow player behavior, but the roaming behavior needs to be enabled, and it's the backwards for the other zombies, so we want to disable the roaming pathfinding for them, but have the follow player pathfinding on. So currently the engineered zombie shouldn't move at all, and it looks like it won't. So Now we need to make the logic for the engineered zombie or the roaming pathfind behavior. And well, again, we need to do it the same way as we did here with the follow player pathfinding. And the only difference is that we don't want to update it all the time this time, because we want to find a new path, go to that path, and after that find a new path, and again go to that path. So we can use a condition called zombies, and here is onCreated. So every time a new zombie gets created, and if it has the roaming pathfinding behavior, then we will call it here that zombies. Be careful not to take the follow player, but here is the roaming one, and call the path, find path. And for the path, we wanted to find a random point on the screen, and we can do that by using random function. And for the arguments, we need to give it the min and max value. So for the x coordinates, let's say I'm going to use 50 as a min value and as a max, well, let's call it 800, as our viewport or the camera size is 854 pixels, if I remember correctly. But now this random function will return a decimal number, but the coordinates will work in full numbers. So we need to add another function here, and it's called floor, and put the brackets around the random function, like so. So what the floor does is it will return the closest smaller full number from the decimal number that the random will return. So this way we will get full number all the time. And now for the x, well, we can just copy this one, and well, the min can be 50, but let's put 430 for the max value, as the height of the viewport is, I think it was 480, if I remember correct. And if we don't remember it, we can always go to the here project properties from the layout properties window, and we can see it right here, viewport size. Yeah, it was 854 and 480 pixels. So now it should find a new destination every time it's get created, and then we need to call the onPathFound condition or trigger. So let's do that. Again, not the follow player, we want the roaming one, and here onPathFound. And again, we do the same as the last time. We call the move along path, and again the roaming one, like this. Now it should move to a random position if we run the game. Looks like it, and then stops. So now we want to call a trigger called, I think it was, well, let's check what it is. It's in the zombies section. Then the roaming onArrived, which is triggered when moving along path and arrived at destination. We click that, and for the actions, here we want to create a turret on the position of the zombie, and after that find a new path. So we can just do it like this. Let's go to the system, create object. Here we choose the turret base, put it on layer 1, then call zombies.x, and here is zombies.y. And this should create the turret base every time the zombie finds the destination. And then we can just copy and paste the same, press R, and change the turret base to the turret gun. And now we have the full turret in that place. And again, we want to find a new position. We can just copy and paste this, find path at random position right over here. So if we run the game now, the zombie will find a new position every time. Oh, it went straight to the explosion. Let's try it again. Okay, now there's one. The second one, yeah, looks like it works. And well, the game will get quite hectic really fast if the player doesn't kill the engineered zombies right away. But one final thing I want to add here is for the fail check, and it's something called on failed to find path. So this could happen if you have obstacles in your scene or in your layout, and the random function returns the coordinates that are inside that obstacle. Then the zombie shouldn't find a path for that position, because it will go around all the obstacles. So here we just want to have this one again. So if we don't find the path, we just find a new destination and try to find path in that destination. And yeah, if we run the game now, it should work just fine. Looks like it. Well, one more thing we might want to do is to put all these turrets when we create them. We can call, let's turret base, and here is set order, and move to the bottom. And we do the same, we copy and paste it and do the same for the turret gun. And actually we want to do the gun before the turret base. So now that the zombie will create the turret will be under the zombie and not on top of it. So yeah, I think that looks good right now. And that is everything for this episode. So we did a little bit of refactoring and made the new zombie. And yeah, I'll see you again in the next episode, where we are going to build some UI for the player to use. So I'll see you then.